Hey everyone, my name's Julio, and today I'm going to be talking to you about gender roles, specifically in China and Spain. To start off with, in China, gender is based off of the yin and the yang. Yin means women and is seen as soft, passive, and weak, while yang refers to men and means hard, dominating, and assertive. The yin and the yang are meant to complement each other, but not necessarily equally. Chinese tradition calls for the yang to always dominate the yin, so basically, men are always seen above women. In traditional Chinese culture, women weren't even given a say when it came to public affairs. Women were taught at a young age to obey men no matter what, first with their father and then with their husband. A woman was only allowed to be the head of her household if her husband died, and that was only until her eldest son was old enough to then become the head of household. In China, a woman's main goal is to have a son. When the one child law went into act, more women started getting abortions when they would find out that the fetus they were carrying was female and not male. This led to an increase in male births and an increase in female abortions. If a woman in China gives birth to a son, she gets a little bit more respect, but still isn't given much by far. Another awful thing that many women in China have to endure is called foot binding. Basically, they break young girls' feet and wrap them so that they can stay small to secure their status. This is done for two reasons. One, it prevents the women from working so that they can focus on raising their household. And two, women with smaller feet are just seen to be more beautiful in Chinese culture. Foot binding was outlawed in the early 20th century because it was seen as cruel. Women in China are now allowed to work in the workplace and have jumped from making 20% of the household income to about 50% of household incomes, yet they're still not seen as equal. Men also have a lot of hardship in China being the yang because there's a lot of pressure placed on them. Men in China also face a lot of hardship. They're supposed to be able to take care of the women in the house and are often the sole provider of income for the house, so that can be a lot. Now, over in Spain, Spain had a lot of strict rules placed on women from the 1930s to the 1970s. These included things like wives not being allowed to travel, own property, or work without their husband's permission. And in order to become a mother, they would have to take a 6-month class on becoming a mother. All marriages had to go through the Catholic Church, and the only way out of a marriage was an annulment through the Catholic Church, meaning that divorces weren't a thing. This changed with the creation of the Constitution in 1978 and when the Civil Code of 1981 went into act. Women are now allowed to work but are still supposed to become mothers, so they have to know how to balance having a career and being a full-time mother. This has caused a lot of women in Spain to start getting married later in life so that they can first establish a career and then work on taking care of their family. Now on to Elise, who's going to talk to us about fashion.
This section of the film focuses on the similarities and differences that Spain and China share in regards to fashion. As you can imagine, the two countries differ more than they share, but that isn't to say they have nothing in common. Let's first take a look at Spanish fashion and go from there. During the 16th century, Spain set the fashion trends for the powerhouses of Europe, such as France, England, and Portugal, as they were the ruling nation for the time period. These are the years that many look to when they think of Spanish fashion, but all good things must come to an end. With the arrival of the 17th century came the up-and-comer France. Led by Louis XIV, the nation ruled the fashion world. Spain still produced beautiful clothing. The main colors in production include yellow, red, and black. Traditional clothing for both men and women come from the 16th century as well. Women would wear farthingale. They would also wear impressive collars called a whisk or a mantille. Men would wear traditionally traja corta. These would be worn with Venetian trousers. Men would also wear copotan. The Spanish also adopted the use of hand fans. During the early 20th century, single women were forbidden from being in public without a male or a chaperone. In order to flirt without raising any red flags, they created a language using a fan. The fan held up and down meant she was single and looking for someone. The fan held flat across her hands meant the chaperone was watching and to be aware. But what about Chinese fashion? For there we have to start with the silk. The fabric is key to Chinese culture and comes from silkworms. The nation had a monopoly on the bugs for hundreds of years, so they could be the sole producer of the fabric. Traditional clothing worn by Chinese women several hundred years ago looked something like the Han Fu, wide sleeves, crossing collar with right overlapping the left, and a sash instead of a belt or button. The spread of Western culture through globalization has influenced Chinese fashion designers to create the Kai Pao, a slim-cut dress with a button on the shoulder. This is the most popular style in the country today. Naturally, Chinese fashion also utilizes the hand fan. These fans are crafted out of expensive materials such as bamboo, hawk beak, or even elephant tusk. However they are made, the country has over 5,000 styles. That's all I have on the fashion style of Spain and China. Let's take it over to another aspect of these two countries' cultures.
Hi everyone, my name is Travis, and today I will be sharing with you some common dishes from Spain and China.
I decided to create San Jacobo, which is commonly consumed as a tapo, which translates to a small afternoon appetizer or snack. San Jacobo is comprised of sliced or shredded mozzarella cheese stuffed between cooked ham that is then breaded and fried. People from Spain view time as polychronic and tend to take breaks in between their work schedule and stay out late with friends and family. Lunch is around 3 p.m. and dinner is around 10 p.m., so this simplistic snack is used to sedate hunger as the people of Spain consume it around 7 p.m. Outsiders often stereotype people from Spain and assume they only eat seafood because their homeland is almost entirely surrounded by water. This is true to an extent, however, Spain's natives love to indulge on easy-to-make fried foods. This is a Cantonese style of sweet and sour chicken. This is a classic dish from northern East China, originating from the city of Harbin. It is comprised of cubes of chicken marinated in a thick, rich, tangy sauce over white rice. Due to Chinese culture, this meal would be served at dinner after fasting for about 6 to 7 hours. Considering lunch is at 1 p.m., dinner is quite large because of China's people finally breaking their fasted state, compared to Spain, where its people are eating every couple of hours. China views time as monochronic because after dinner it is typically lights out until the morning.
And now on to Morgan, who's going to talk about political climate and education systems.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm going to talk to you guys about political government and education in Spain and China. So in Spain, the form of government is a parliamentary monarchy, which is a constitutional monarchy where the monarch is the head of the state and the prime minister, and the official title is the president of the government or head of the government. In its present democratic form, the Spanish political system is very new. The current Spanish constitution was approved in 1978. For all practical purposes in Spain, the head of the executive is the prime minister. So in China is considered a semi-presidential socialist republic run by a single party, the Communist Party of China. Including a central committee that has around 200 members, anyone can join the Communist Party. Membership is open to anyone over the age of 18 who accepts the party program and is willing to work actively in one of their organizations. The People's Republic was first governed according to the Common Program, and organic laws adopted in 1949. Since then, 4 constitutions were formed, each reflecting shifts in policy and the balance of power among different factions of top leadership. For education in Spain, the Spanish education system is divided into 4 stages. The first stage is nursery school, which is from when a child's 3 months old to 3 years old. The second stage is preschool, from when a child is aged 3 to 6 years old. And the third stage is primary school, which lasts from when a child's age 6 to 12 and is split up in 3 sections, one from ages 6 to 8, another from ages 8 to 10, and then one more from ages 10 to 12. And then secondary education is next, which lasts from age 12 to 16, and then at age 16 students have the choice to study for 2 years to gain a certificate. After the certificate, students can take an entry exam to attend a university. For Chinese education, it's the largest education system in the world, also considered the most challenging educational program. In 2017, 9.4 million Chinese students were taking the National Higher Education Entrance Exam. In the mid-80s, Chinese government passed a new education law making 9 years of education mandatory for all Chinese students. Children born into more affluent families are more likely to have access to this quality education compared to low-income families. And as of 2011, China had but all eliminated illiteracy among young and middle-aged citizens, which was a landmark achievement for a country with the world's largest population. We hope you liked our video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe down below. Thanks!